Hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello.
Then applied to the activities of presidents attempting to control prices after the war. Their speech, their words
Did I do
aimed
it?
at these private companies to get them to
I think I might have done it.
stop raising their prices were likened to Samson's vengeance on the Philistines in the book of Judges.
All right. Can you hear me? Damn it. Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is there audio? You can hear me. Oh, thank fucking God, dude. I fucking hate audio. Don't fuck with me, Farrell. Don't you fuck with me. Don't you fuck with me right now, Farrell. I can't. I can't handle that shit. I can't.
Judges. There, he claims, with the jawbone of an ass, I have slain 1,000 men. And the word.
You can't. Okay. How is that even possible? How is that even possible? We can hear. Okay. I don't even know what changed. I don't know why it changed. But I will put so many holes in my wall. I will put like so many holes all up in this bitch. Ah.
Of these.
Okay, so jawboning is. I don't even have it in me now. I did an entire introduction. I explained what it was. I riffed. I did well. If I was forced to update Windows, that could be it. Oh. That might have been it, actually. Yeah, because Windows, I just came back and my computer was like off, and I was like, what the fuck? Is that what happened? Farrell 22. Okay, thank you, Farrell. Is that what happened? Are they pushing out forced Windows updates right now? Because there's no you didn't win. There's no way I can like check it live, right? I don't have the ability to like. There would need to be another person here, and Jess is just too busy doing whatever Jess does. So it's just like I don't have a frozen Asian, okay? I don't have a Pessy. I don't have 3 goddamn producers. This is just me. And like when shit like that goes awry, it irks me. It irks me deeply. I'm deeply irked. So, hi. Hello everybody. Hi again. Just log into your phone when you stream. Then you know what you hear? Yeah, I'll do that. Then you just hear you just hear me on my phone. You hear the backup phone. I don't have another set of ears. I have one set of ears. I can't do. I think Rumble's just being an asshole. You just being an asshole, Rumble. Is that what's up? You just being a complete dick asshole butt stuff. Okay, I need to relax, dude. I need to relax. I need to like, cause like whenever audio. Look, I'm not.
Presidents and other officials were them using their own ass's jawbone in an attempt to control prices and browbeat companies into changing.
Don't you fucking start with me, Christian, because the reason why I'm like this is because of that whole DayZ bullshit and the base and all that. That's like part of it. That game is ruining my life. This is my life. And obviously it's ruined. Can't you see the show? It's not going well. It's not blowing up. It's mid at best.
Social media has come a long way since the last election, and it's not likely to catch anyone by surprise. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube have all developed into mainstream platforms, and for presidential candidates left, right, and center, having a robust social media strategy is...
All right. I have to burp. So jawboning is when the government puts like penalties on companies for not censoring certain points of view, okay? It's not a direct violation of the First Amendment because they're not actually doing it saying, hey, censor this or else we're going to shut down your company. But it can be heavily implied. And that's just a workaround. It's a gigantic loophole that the government has been using for decades at least to force companies to fall in line.
It's the only way to go now.
Back in this country, the Obama administration's innovation proposal. President Obama made his case on a high-tech visit to the West Coast.
Well, social media is no longer optional. Having a sound social media strategy is critical to winning a presidential election.
From 2012 to 2016, you had so many elected officials who wanted to go to Silicon Valley. They wanted to get the tours. They wanted to be looked as though they were tech savvy because everything that the tech companies were touching kind of turned to gold.
Christian says, sorry, I was proud of you. It won't happen again. You're a liar on both accounts.
They were the favorite children.
We're happy to hear from you. Okay, thank you, Farrell. She gave 10 this time, and she says 33. Happy to hear from you tonight. Well, I'm holding it together. I'm holding it together. You know? I'm doing my best. I'm doing what I can do. All right? I show up night after night, and then I just get belittled time after time after time. And they're all like, hey, that gay guy's live right now. Let's bully him. Let's bully him until he puts a pistol in his mouth. Not today. Not tonight. Oh, it would have been funny if it landed right there. And then I just pulled out a revolver. I'm like, this is it. One of these days, I'm gonna, yeah.
And then things started to change.
Fine, 10 is 2 spins. Okay, fine, I'll do it twice. You're not even feral. You're free side. You're just, oh, and it's a 0. So there, okay?
Until after 2016, when you have real anxieties about foreign misinformation and a lack of clear authority.
I know, Rhea. Look, I am well aware of reality. I understand. You know, I understand my place in this world. It's at the motherfucking top, all right? I just need to get there first. Everyone's holding me down. Everyone's holding me back. Everyone's holding me back and down. I just need to be lifted up. I just need to be lifted up and just a little wee bit of help once in a while. Just a little bit of help once in a while would just do, it's just wonders. It would do wonders for the show.
What or who is responsible for doing something about it? That you get a lot of jawboning, that it becomes normalized in Congress and in Washington.
People also start to have...
Yeah, I'm not gay, free side. I did say things, but it's my mic that's the gay one. It's the gay one. This is this mic or my computer. It's probably all the gay porn I have downloaded on it. Just tons. Just the terabytes and terabytes. And it's like, it's all vaguely similar. It's extremely similar. I mean, like, how creative can you get with two dudes? But like, there is a compendium It is a full library of Alexandria of gay homosexual porn. It's probably slowing down my computer. You got anything to say about that, guys? Do you have anything to say about that? Can't hear you. You must be fucking muted.
Have more
You guys must be muted.
What power?
I'm not seeing anybody either.
Our citizens? How much persuasiveness or sway could they have over our economy and other things, particularly the election of President Trump being such a shock for people? Many people, the first questions coming out of that election were, how did President Trump win? How did he use platforms like Facebook to do so?
Facebook has come under fire recently for its role in last year's election. Reports have surfaced showing the social network.
I mean, did you see everybody on Reddit? How everybody on Reddit thought, I don't even know who ran last time, but everyone on Reddit was absolutely shocked that Trump won. And then they started to question whether they were in an echo chamber. Because remember, he won the popular vote, right? So everybody on Reddit and a large percentage of X were all like, well, obviously most people prefer to have, I don't know. God, what was the other one? Who ran against Trump last time? I have no idea. I have no clue. I don't even, was it Kamala? Was it Kamala? The camel jockey lesbian? Is that what she is? I have no idea. But no wonder you just automatically forget her. I wonder how people on Reddit thought that most Americans, not like foreign nationals, liked. I mean, obviously you're in some sort of echo chamber. Obviously. Because no one liked her.
Site was a breeding ground for misinformation.
And there you have Dianne Feinstein.
She's a curry
kicking
lesbian.
off the age of
licking curry out of it.
Social media jawboning.
Ew.
Representatives.
You bear this responsibility. You've created these platforms, and now they are being misused. And you have to be the ones to do something about it.
Arden Share is Hillary in 2016, then Kamala in 2020. So he's beaten women like a fucking off-duty cop. I love it. I love it. I don't even remember, but based, sir, based.
Or we will.
After 2016, and in particularly when COVID happened, you started to see governments more starting to push the companies on what types of content they were allowing around how people could stay safe with the vaccine, and also voting procedures and stuff of that nature.
Did you take it? I didn't take it. I'm all John. Right? I don't know what that vaccine did. Oh, shit. Can I even say that? It doesn't matter. I don't know what it did, but I didn't take it. And a lot of people did. A lot of people say it doesn't do anything. A lot of people say it kills people. I'm not saying that. I didn't take it, though. And I didn't die. I'm also, not old or gross in some manner. So I didn't see why I should take it. But there was a lot of pressure for people to take it, right? And then me being extremely suspicious all the time, literally all the time, of everyone, I'm like, no. So I didn't take it. I didn't let anybody in my family take it. And I'm fine.
The coronavirus crisis leading to another dangerous outbreak that some are calling an infodemic.
You're seeing challenges around information quality that we've never seen before. The reality is I think we used to have a lot more agreement in society about what constituted truth.
I mean, I don't know what it did. But what's that Dawson's Creek guy? He just died. And he was only 48. He was only 10. Am I 38? Yeah. He's only 10 years older than me. And he had like 6 kids. It was really sad. Jason Vanderbeek, right? And like back in the Dizzy, he was pushing was the Pfizer vaccine quite hard. So we know he took it. I'm not saying they're connected. I'm not saying they're connected in the least bit. However, somebody who's a wacky-do conspiracy theorist might make a loose connection between those. Not me. Not me at all, YouTube. Not me at all. Just don't watch the last few shows I've had because those are not my opinions. Those are the opinions of those wackadoos out there.
In fact,
not me.
Argue as much about those
not
kinds
me.
of things. You have really a battle going on over.
He had a beautiful white family, and that's probably why they targeted him.
What role social media and online platforms have in policing truth.
The social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook.
Who's Patrick Stacey? Who's Patrick Stacey? I don't know.
Have been trying to limit the spread of disinformation.
Disinformation, misinformation, those are my favorite words because just like hate speech, they mean absolutely nothing. Hate speech doesn't mean anything. Disinformation, misinformation, these are made up terms to make you think that it's not even worth learning about. But when you slap one of those labels onto this, it automatically intrigues me, right? And I'm not saying everything labeled misinformation or disinformation is automatically true, because obviously that would be a poor decision, right? This is why. So here's the thing. They oftentimes lump in crazy conspiracies with completely legit conspiracies, right? Like, oh, those flat earthers / people who think COVID might give you, the COVID vaccine might give you cancer, they lump them together as if you believe one, you must believe the other. But no, that's not the case, right? That's not the case at all. But from people on the outside, people in the Reddit community, they're all like, oh yeah, they're all wackos, right? They must all believe both of those things. No, Flat Earth is a silly conspiracy. And I'm pretty sure it is a psyop. And when they mention that, they always mention the Flat Earth with other legit conspiracies. I'm not saying that the COVID vaccine does these things. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm not saying it does those things. The Earth is definitely not flat, okay? However, the other one is a little bit more suspect.
But it's more complicated than it appears.
That's a straw man fallacy.
Yeah. Environment, we all have a role to play. Us as individuals have a role to play to understand what our media diet is, to make sure that if something sounds kind of fishy...
Pizzagate was 100% true. Yeah, I don't even think that's a good... Well, yeah. That was 100% true. I mean, like, just because you can deny it, which they will. Hill Dog is going to deny shit like that all day long. But we don't even need evidence for that. And I know you always need evidence and shit like that, but I mean, the emails kind of speak for themselves. But also, we're not retarded. It just seems like you're into that kind of thing. And it kind of came out later with the whole island that was pretty much what was going on. So you might still say that Pizzagate, oh, we're not trafficking children through this weird pizza place. And that pizza place specifically, they probably weren't, right? But that doesn't mean it wasn't a front for another operation. I don't want to get too far into the weeds in this one. This episode's already being banned for misinformation. But like, it's just kind of your modus operandi, right? Yeah, you smoke kids around. You do weird things. You drink blood and shit. You poison mass populations and stuff. it would be more of a conspiracy theory not to believe these things. At this point in the stream of reality that we live in, would you seriously not believe in any conspiracy theories and still be considered rational? Would you be considered a normal, rational person not to believe in any conspiracy theories whatsoever? Epstein's dead. That island's all nonsense, hoo-ha. Fucking JFK, his heads sometimes explode. Sometimes heads just explode. Sometimes journalists, their cars just boom. That happens. There are conspiracies out there that are a little bit touchier, like the moon landing. I don't give a shit about the moon landing. I think that is the lamest conspiracy theory. Whether it's true or not, I don't care if it's true or not. I seriously don't even think it's worthwhile. What I care about is, like, are they trafficking kids? Are they blackmailing high-level CEOs and politicians to skew society in a certain direction? Are they silencing certain people? Those are the real conspiracies that people should be worried about, not what the shape of the earth is, or have people been to space? Does it matter? Does that really matter? No, that doesn't matter. Because what if you figure it out? What if you crack the case and be like, haha, we never went to the moon? Great. Fantastic. What are we going to do now? However, on the other hand, if you all of a sudden find out that there's a giant tentacle-like cabal of people controlling the world's affluent people, the most powerful, influential people on the planet, and you crack that case and hear all the documents and stuff like that, people are going to be wheeling out guillotines into town squares. Actual change might happen. Obviously it won't. There's too many sheep out there. There's too many NPCs for it to, ever be disrupted. I could be wrong about that, though. History surprises you sometimes. Surprises me. But who gives a fuck about the moon?
That we're maybe looking for backup sources of what it might be. Understanding that we need to make sure that we're looking for a dateline on a story. Does it have a byline?
Stevie Wonder is not blind. Exactly. That is a legit conspiracy. And, that's actually a pretty important one. What if he's been seeing all these times? That's so fucking stupid. That's so stupid.
Not just immediately believing everything that we do see. But we can't do all of that on our own.
Trust the science? Well, it sure seems like...
This guy is Macaulay Culkin's brother. Is it?
Like the science can't always be trusted. A new terrifying report from The Guardian indicates that research credibility is at an all-time low as a rash of fake papers made their way into the academy.
Now, when you say fake papers, what does that mean? Yeah, are you saying fake peer-reviewed papers made it into a distinguished journal? Well, then how are they peer-reviewed at all? Like, if they're fake, right? Like, what do you mean by that? Or are they real, but they were kind of damning, and then people are all like, well, we're going to call them fake. Which direction is this going?
Prestigious journals.
There's been such disagreement about what kind of problem disinformation or hate speech are that we haven't seen that kind of agreement over any one solution. So when government officials take it upon themselves to jawbone about the problems they see, they may be addressing legitimate issues, oversights by platforms, but they're doing so as lone guns.
Feral Pigeon says trusted science is an oxymoron. Science is constantly disproving their own conclusions over and over again. And this is absolutely correct. And that's why it's so weird. I'm going to go back to the Reddit people. The Reddit people treat science as a theology, right? They worship it and they listen to scientists like the priest class. But the science that they know about, that they hear about, are all funded by like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and fucking, I don't know, Disney and shit like that. The people in power actually pay for these studies and then push them out to fit their own agenda. So how often do I see something, oh, new study claims that women are better at sports than men? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the new study, huh? A new science. New study said that, huh? Oh, new study claims that female cavemen were actually better hunters. Oh. Study. It said study. It said... That means I have to believe it. No, that's nonsense. That's complete bullshit. That's complete bullshit. No one's going... You have to put study in front of it just so I have to look twice before I automatically write it off as nonsense. At least you got that second look from me where I was all like, huh? What? And then I think for a split second, because I have critical thinking skills beyond a fucking first grader, and I'm like, well, that's obviously not true. That's obviously not true. And just because it says study confirms being gay is awesome doesn't mean I'm going to automatically buy that shit. Okay? But this is what they do now. And it works on so many people. It works on so many people because so many people are so fucking stupid. There's so many goddamn idiots out there. I'm probably one of them. I guarantee you I've been fooled dozens of times, at least this month. And we're not even halfway through. I've probably been fooled a couple of dozen times. Sure, right? But me knowing that, hey, I'm easily tricked kind of helps me out and be like, John, are you being tricked right now? Is this all nonsense and bullshit again? Like 99% of everything else you see and read and hear on TV and the internet and the fucking billboards and people on fucking planes with those goddamn things behind them? I'm at the beach, for God's sakes. I don't need ads. I don't need ads. And if I think like that, usually I'm like, yeah, it's bullshit too. This is bullshit. This is all fucking bullshit. And it makes you question your reality to such a deep degree. You start touching the fucking walls and shit. Is this shit real? Is this shit real? Because nothing else is. Nothing else is. Oops. There we go.
Binary from the other involves a lot of very, very subjective judgments.
Republicans allege the platforms have an anti-conservative bias. They question the social media giants' actions regarding the New York Post story.
You know, the liberals and the conservatives, they're both controlled opposition, right? Let's not act like the conservative Republicans aren't just as controlled as the liberal Democrats. Can we drop that right now and just accept that these are all boomer institutions that worked really well tricking boomers, all right? But we didn't grow up in that high trust society. When somebody fucking calls us on our phone and be like, your daughter has been kidnapped, give me $1 million, we're like, oh my God! Oh my God, this is real? This is real. But if you're fucking a 67-year-old Beulah, you're gonna fucking start wiring checks to Nigeria and fucking Bangladesh and weird places like that and being like, can you let Susie go? What do you mean? Check her feed, dude. She's fine. She's out having like tacos or something like that. You didn't even call her? You didn't call her. She's fine. You got scammed again. Oh, by the way, you are not dating Dan Harmon. You're not dating fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. Not dating Johnny Depp. He wouldn't want a 70-year-old bag like you. Your fucking labias are loose. Look at that. It's got no grip. It's like a bald tire. Gripless.
Stories about President.
He don't want you. And for some, he can access his money as well. He can access his money. And you don't need to send checks to Johnny Depp. You don't.
Elect Joe Biden's son Hunter in the lead up to the election.
The previous regime at Twitter spoke publicly about their regrets about how they handled the New York Post Hunter Biden.
But that's just, I mean, this is what I'm saying. This trickery, these institutions worked well for decades, worked well for an entire generation of people, for like the boomers, right? They were designed and set up for the boomers. And the boomers bought them because they weren't constantly lied to. When their parents told them they could grow up to be anything, they were kind of right? They could grow up and essentially do anything and be able to afford a decent living in the United States. But when our parents did it, when our boomer parents did that to us, they might not have known it, but they were lying to our faces. Straight up and down lying to our faces. It wasn't like that for them. They weren't constantly being lied to. Obviously, we have more means of communication in this day, in this era, right? And so we become a little bit more wary of scams, phishing attempts. You know, nobody sends you anything for free. But time after time after time, we see it on Daywave. We see it on that scam phishing show. How do you keep falling for this? What was it like back in your heyday? But anyways, these institutions, they haven't changed the game. They think their old tricks are still playing fine, and they can actually feel their grip loosening. Like Beulah's fucking lips. They're probably panicking. And who knows what their plan is. Right? Now Discord wants our faces, right? Now Discord wants us to identify ourselves. So everything's got to be tracked, and we have this weird social credit score. I already fucked mine. I already fucked my social credit score. It's gone. By doing this show. And by all the shit I say on Twitter. It's not positive. It's not a lot of pot, but I can't get fired. So I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to fucking roll the dice. Let it ride. I'm going to let it ride. See where this takes me. Because I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. So, I'm just saying I could disappear at any point. You guys should know that this could be my last show. They could all be my last show. And then you'll just never hear from John again. Some might be pleased about it. I don't think you'll be pleased about that. I hope you're concerned. I hope you ask questions and stuff like that. And then you know what they're going to say? John who? And then eventually you'll forget. But there will be more of me. There shall be more. I am just one instance, but there will be many more. And eventually it'll come to a point where they just can't contain it. I don't know how far that is, but I'm just saying. You get my point.
Biden's story right before the election, and in retrospect, maybe wouldn't have acted the way that they did based on...
Arden Chaya said, I had to scan my ID just to send an email the other day. Shit's out of hand. That's exactly what I'm talking about, man. Why do we allow them to do that? Oh, if you want to do, just start your own private company and blah. Yes. Why don't you start your own private payment processor? Why don't you start your own Google? Well, I can't. I can't do that. Obviously, you understand why I can't do that. And you saying that makes you sound incredibly ignorant. Incredibly ignorant. Like just naive. And it makes me hate you. Try not to hate so much. But it's difficult. It's really tough.
What later came out.
Not every example of jawboning is going to be as neat and tidy as White House advisor Andy Slavitt telling Meta that the White House is looking into its
Elk Slayer says, I love you, Daddy. Say it back.
options as to what to do about the platform's reticence.
How do you know it's me? I'll let you know. Disconnected earlobes. They're not connected, all right? If you see some motherfucker with connected earlobes sitting down and be like, listen, guys, we should really just do what they tell us, then fucking that's not me. That is not the guy. That's not me. You ever notice how Joe Biden seems really coherent in some of his speeches? And then you look at his ears, connected. And then he's all like wobbly in another one. He's falling downstairs and he's got disconnected earlobes. Those are different guys. They just don't notice the ears. A lot of people don't notice. I noticed that shit. Does that make me schizophrenic? Or just don't worry about it. I'll go with schizophrenic.
None of the platforms want to be seen as helping foment insurrection.
Yeah.
None of the platforms want to be seen as making a public health crisis worse. You know, they want to behave in a socially responsible way, and they're going to make decisions that not everybody's going to agree with. But I do think that, you know, they should preserve the ability to make those decisions and free of, you know, undue government pressure.
If the government can achieve by proxy what the First Amendment prohibits it from achieving directly, we have a sort of constitutional dead zone where the government is free to pursue its policy objectives without having to clear the legislative process, but more importantly, without having to clear constitutional scrutiny.
Crucially, when you have jawboning going on, when it's known that this is occurring, when government actors are collaborating with platforms to remove this or that unwanted truth, we can't trust anything we see online. We must always expect that something is being kept from us and that the available information has been pre-pruned by someone else.
The Supreme Court getting ready to weigh in on whether or not the federal government violated the First Amendment when it pressured social media platforms to take down what it claimed was misleading content about the pandemic and the 2020 election.
Murphy v. Missouri is
It is a handsome stash. I mean, he puts work in
first time the Supreme Court.
Fake John is circumcised? No, I'm circumcised. Look, if I could regrow my foreskin through the power of the faith in Jesus, I would. I can't though. It's bald, man. It doesn't have the little hat. It's not my fault though. I wouldn't have done that myself. I don't know why. I don't want to get into it. I'm still pretty mad about it.
Take a crack at social media jawbone. It comes out of a case called Missouri v. Biden, in which Missouri and Louisiana sued the Biden administration and the CDC on behalf of a group of doctors who felt as though their content, skeptical of vaccines, had been censored by social media platforms at the behest of or in response to government demands that they crack down on COVID misinformation.
And I know people who, look, whatever direction you happen to stand on this issue, that's your prerogative, right? And you have a right as a citizen to believe whatever you want to believe, right? But I know people that intentionally got more vaccines just because people on the right or alt-right Nazis, I don't know how it got like tangled in with like Nazis and stuff, but like were against the vaccine. So there is a group of people that were so in it, like just such bootlickers, they decided to get extra vaccines just to, but you already had all the ones, but they're like, I want more now. So people know I'm part of this group. Okay, fine, dude. I guess you're getting medical procedures to reflect your political stance, not on any necessity or like you have AIDS or something like that. No, they're like, no, I'm doing this because I want people to know I'm not a Trump supporter or whatnot. So they got more of them. I'm like, why? How many boosters do you need? All of them. I need all of the boosters. And I'll go get a second round, right? They're giving out donuts. Get a second round.
Jawboning case before the Supreme Court this term that also concerns the extent to which the government can.
Dan Snott says my cousin was one that showed off his Vax card. Ew. Oh. Your cousin sounds like the kind of guy that if people said like getting a circumcision was cool, he'd bite off his own foreskin. And probably bite off other dudes' foreskins just to help the cause.
Intimidate private third-party business relationships in order to get and end First Amendment protected.
Jay says the only way the right is Nazi/fascist is if the political spectrum is a circle instead of a straight line. Well, it could be I mean, there is theories about the political circle, and I mean, there is some validity to it. So that could be real.
Did speech. Murphy v. Missouri and Polo pose virtually the same legal question to the court.
What is the Facebook Vax card? What is that? What is the Facebook Vax card? They also cut off their kids' dicks, so that's a valid point, dude. That's a valid point, right? They're like, oh, cutting off your kid's dick is cool now? Well, you know, Jimmy, now he's Sarah. Oh, now she's Sarah. Isn't she lovely? God. The kid's just crying, mascara rolling down his cheeks. He's all like... And all that fucking twink with those little glasses. Because they always have tiny glasses. They always have these tiny glasses just patting himself on the fucking back. Like, look how gay my kid is. I'm a strong, loving, supportive parent. No, you have Munchausen syndrome. That's what that is. You curried attention because your son is ill, which you made him. That's Munchausen by proxy syndrome. That's what you are. That's what you got. That's what you got. And yes, it's at a mass societal scale. But that doesn't excuse it. Look what you did to him. He's not going to recover. Just so you can get social validation for this much time. For this much time. Just so people be able, oh, wow, you're such a great dad. Well, no, he's not. No, he's not. He's a monster. And that's how history will reflect it, right? Maybe not in our lifetimes, but 100 years, 150 years, people are going to look back and be like, whoa, people in the early 21st century were fucked up.
But the two lower courts teed up.
And then there's going to be some old troon. Well, they don't get very old. But there's going to be a video of some young troon 100 years from now being like, I fucking hate that guy. Yeah, he cut my dick off. Yeah. Threw my balls in the freezer and shit like that. And showed him off at dinner parties. Yeah, I killed him.
Up the question under totally different bodies of law. The Fifth Circuit and the Biden SG teed it up under a case called Bloom v. Uretsky, and the Second Circuit teed it up under a case called Bantam Books v. Sullivan.
These two cases set very different thresholds or bars.
And we're going back to the Stevie Wonder. We're going back to the Stevie Wonder fucking conspiracy. How would Stevie Wonder know if she was lovely if he was blind? It's starting, the pieces are starting to fall together. You're right.
For finding either jawboning or government action.
In Bantam Books v. Sullivan, the court held that an implicitly threatening letter from a commission that did not itself have enforcement authority was sufficient to create a scheme of informal censorship that had the effect of violating the First Amendment. What this establishes is that it shouldn't be unduly difficult for plaintiffs to seek redress. It doesn't have to be a direct threat of adverse regulatory action from a very high-ranking executive official. Bantam Books also made clear that the proper defendant in jawboning suits is the source of the constitutional injury.
In Blum v. Uretsky, however, the court found that the state can only be held responsible for a private decision when they've exercised coercive power or provided such significant encouragement that the choice must be deemed to be that of the state.
If the court agrees with the Fifth Circuit and the Biden administration that Blum v. Uretsky is the appropriate framework, what this will do is set an unduly high bar for future plaintiffs to obtain redress against the government, and it will induce them to name the wrong defendant. The appropriate defendant is always the one who inflicted the constitutional injury. That is the government.
What's important to say about the Murthy case is even if
So they're basically saying that they're going to make it impossible to actually sue the government for violation of First Amendment speech. And of course that's the case. Of course that's going to be the case. It's not even... Of course that's going to be the case. You think the government is going to make it easy for you to sue them? Or you think they're going to make it... You think they're going to impose laws on themselves? Do you think they're going to limit their own power ever? Obviously not. They're going to try to attain as much power as possible because more power means more money, more influence, and it's gotten out of control. The government has gotten, should I say it? Yeah, the government's gotten out of control. It's just way, way, way out of control. And everybody sitting in this fucking building right here is like 80 years old. And yeah, you would think, oh, well, they're 80 years old. They might not have that much long to live. We can get new people in there, new representatives in there to actually reflect what the current population feels and what would be more just in the modern era. Yeah, you'd think that, wouldn't you? But they just keep on living. They just keep on living. And living and living and living. You know, what do you think? A lot of them might have 10, 20 years. Well, what kind of technology are we going to have in 10 or 20 years? Are we going to have the technology to actually extend the people's lives in these buildings? Another 10 or 20 years? And then what's another 10 or 20 years after that? What kind of technology are we going to have after that? Are we going to be able to extend their lives another 10 or 20 years? And then it just keeps going on like that until we have this race of super old people just ruling over everybody. This gerontocracy, right? This feudalist society where they became a senator in 1958 and then they just kind of stayed that way forever. I'm just saying, maybe it'll happen. I could see that happening.
If the government were to lose in that case, it would probably only curtail the executive branch's jawboning of online platforms. So I don't see Congress being affected by that case.
Volo is a reminder, though, that...
Lucas says we have to kill people or nothing will change. Well, I mean... that is every political and governmental change in history. You gotta kill some people, right? I'm not saying you should do that. Please don't misconstrue my words. But like, if regime change is required, that's every time that it's happened, that's how it's been. It's not like, oh, well, let's just wait till they die. No. It's never been like that.
Jawboning is a much bigger problem than just in the social media context, and that it's not just a problem concerning federal officials. Superintendent Fulla was a New York state political official.
There probably isn't a Goldilocks line that is going to perfectly prohibit all untoward government jawboning while allowing innocent or benevolent government information attempts. So, instead, if we can't sort all of the bad from all...
In Minecraft. Thank you, James. Everything I say is in Minecraft.
Of the good, the best thing to do is to make it all public.
I think that a ruling from the court is going to have to be a multi-factor kind of context-sensitive analysis. I think courts faced with these realize quickly that a bright line rule is likely to result in absurd outcomes. These are by nature context-specific inquiries.
The entire legal system has been broken for a long time. It's used as a weapon against the people. Right? All you need to do is have a few favorable judges in there, and then you're good. You're set. You have one case where you might disagree with a judge, but it's set as a precedent, right? And then usually when a case has a precedent set, the next judge that reviews a similar case is going to be like, well, this is already a precedent set, so we're going to go with that, right? Not to shake up the room or anything. And then it just kind of gets accepted as like, that's the rule, that's the law, right? That's what we're going with. But that's not how it's supposed to work. The legal system has been weaponized against the American people.
I really hope that the Supreme Court does not throw the baby out with the bathwater, because we do need to be able to have ways for the government to talk to social media companies.
You aren't going to see the Supreme Court impose a disclosure regime on government communications with platforms from the top down. They might, and I think ought to, hint at the value of Congress doing such a thing in their decision. But ultimately, that's a role for Congress.
Well, I think a broad ruling that government could never speak to platforms could make platforms much less equipped to deal with broad-scale propaganda campaigns, misinformation campaigns by foreign...
Look, it's your duty as an American to figure your own shit out, right? The government it shouldn't hold your hand and tell you what to believe and tell you what misinformation and disinformation and hate speech is. It's up to you to figure out what that is, what that means, right? You're supposed to be laid out all the stories, all the facts, all the nitty-gritty details, and then you have the right to decide what you believe is true. When they do this, when they have this censorship, they're taking that away from you. They're infantilizing you to the point where you can't decide for yourself. We've decided that this information, and they'll have an opposition that is weak, penisless opposition. And they'll both agree. They'll, like fucking Fox News and CNN will give the same story and fucking both agree with each other, even though it looks like opposition. They're trying to control the way you think. That's why they label things as misinformation or hate speech. Because they don't like it. They hate the speech. They believe it to be misinformation because it doesn't help their bottom line. It doesn't help their control status. But that's not very American.
Foreign governments and bad actors, and that would be a really bad result. We want that kind of information to be shared. But is there some kind of line that can be drawn to ensure that the government sharing that information doesn't become coercive or isn't an inappropriate use of the government's power? Perhaps, and we'll see what happens in the case.
Yeah, this really is the $1 million question. I hope the Supreme Court can answer, because the rest of us can't.
Okay, moving on. Do you guys know who Savannah Guthrie is? Apparently her mom got kidnapped, and this is the first I'm hearing about it We're going to dive into this a little bit. I want to know what you guys think.
We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her.
Savannah Guthrie is, she's like somebody on TV, on CNN. I don't know anything about the case.
At first, investigators thought this was a straightforward abduction, but a new rooftop footage has quietly surfaced, and it completely shifts the narrative about her being alive. The question now isn't just who took her, but why this footage was never discussed sooner. The night that started like any other. On the evening of January 31st, 2026, Nancy Guthrie climbed into an Uber at 5:32 p.m. and headed to her daughter Annie's house for dinner and a game night with the family. It was a normal evening by every measure. Nancy ate with her family, they played games together, and when the night wound down, her son-in-law, Tommaso Cioni, drove her back home. Surveillance data confirmed her garage door opened at 9:48 p.m. and closed again at 9:50 p.m. And that 2-minute window of a garage door going up and coming back down turned out to be the last provable moment that Nancy Guthrie was safe inside her own house. To understand why what happened next was so alarming, you need to understand Nancy herself. She's 84 years old and lives alone in the Catalina foothills, a quiet stretch of land just north of Tucson, Arizona, where the houses sit far apart and the desert brush fills in the gaps between them. She has
Ampu says you're gay.
a pacemaker, takes daily
For $5, thanks. I'm gay.
medication for her heart and blood pressure.
Who's gay?
Physical mobility is severely limited. A
You're
fact
gay.
the Pima County Sheriff made very clear when he spoke publicly about the case.
This is an elderly woman in her mid-80s who suffers some ailments that makes her mobility, her ability to walk around very difficult.
The family told investigators she could barely manage short distances on her own, so Nancy went to bed that night the same way she always did, alone in a house surrounded by darkness with no streetlights, no nearby neighbors, and no one close enough to hear a thing. And sometime between the moment she settled in and the early hours of the next morning, everything changed. At 1:47 a.m. on February 1st, her doorbell camera went offline. 25 minutes later, at 2:12 a.m., the home security system detected motion that could have been a person, or could have been an animal. But there is no way to tell because the camera saved nothing due to an expired subscription. Then at 2:28 a.m., Nancy's pacemaker app disconnected from her cell phone, and while the phone stayed in the house, Nancy clearly did not. That 41-minute stretch from the...
Hold on. You have a pacemaker app? There's an app on your... So your heart is actually has a Bluetooth signal. Your heart is giving off a Bluetooth signal. That's not a security risk or anything like that. Because if it's giving off a Bluetooth signal, it can definitely receive signals, which means people can hack into your heart. Couldn't they kill you like that? Wouldn't that be right? Wouldn't they be able to just jam the... Wouldn't they be able to kill you like that? Farrell, $5. She says 16. Let's see if it works. 16. Damn, it hasn't hit in a while. It has not hit in a while. That's, But right, wouldn't it be a bad idea to have a Bluetooth signal on your pacemaker? Wouldn't that be a bad idea?
Camera going dark to the pacemaker cutting off became the window investigators believe the abduction took place in, and for hours afterward, nobody had any idea anything had happened. Nancy is a devoted churchgoer, and when she failed to show up for services that Sunday morning, a church friend called her family around 11 a.m. to check in.
Yes, it just sends info to the doctor. It doesn't control it. My grandfather has one. Are you sure? Are you sure it doesn't control it in some weird way? They might say it doesn't control it, but like, are you sure? I feel like, because people say that your Wi-Fi router doesn't know how many people are in the house, but it does. It absolutely does. People can figure out how many bodies are, even if they don't have phones, right? Just how many bodies in your house. You sure they don't have some sort of weird way of like stopping that thing and just be like, oh, his heart gave out or something like that?
Her relatives drove to the house, arriving at 11:56 a.m., and what they found told a story that did not need much interpretation. Blood droplets on the front porch, trailing out.
Farrell says, I think he's already hacked into all of our heart's thoughts. I hope you're talking about me. I assume you are, and I don't want any more information.
Word from the door, like someone had been dragged or injured as they were taken, while her phone, wallet...
You had to set up the app, you're sure? Okay, but you wouldn't see it in the app. You wouldn't be like, there's a heart stop button right here. I wonder what this does. And then your fucking grandpa just keels over. It would probably be like a back end thing, I imagine. I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor, so I'll take your word for it.
And life-sustaining medication all sat untouched inside the house. They called 911 at 12:03.
Tejas says, in 2017, the FDA recalled nearly 500,000 Abbott, formerly St. Jude Medical pacemakers due to cybersecurity flaws that could allow hackers to access devices' wireless home monitoring systems to control pacing or exhaust the battery. Holy shit. Are you sure they completely figured that out? You sure they completely stomped that out? I guarantee you the government, the NSA, whatever, has some sort of back door that they can do this, right? Or they can speed up your pacemaker or just shut it off. I guarantee you. Because you know why? You know why, Big B? Because they can. And that's a little bit of extra power. And when you offer a little bit of extra power to one of these organizations, to the government and stuff like that, they're not going to be like, no, that's unethical. No, they're going to take that and fucking throw it in their bag. They're going to be like, thank you. Now I have that tool. I would be pretty positive that they can absolutely still do that. I would damn near guarantee, not a doctor, not a tech guy, but it just seems like a stupid thing just to be like, well, we don't want to be able to do that. That's just mean. You know?
PM. Deputies arrived 12 minutes later, and from the very first moment law enforcement walked through that door, there was no question about what they were dealing with.
Sharp as a tack. Her wits are about her.
The sheriff wanted the public to understand that Nancy's mind was never the issue here.
This is a...
Big B says, well, that's news. Sorry, Grandpa. Some Zoomer is probably going to prank you. That's an epic boomer prank, right? Okay, we're in the grocery store today, and we're going to kill some random guy. I don't know who. Let's see. Just some dude drops in the background. Oh, epic. I don't think it's like a public thing that Zoomers could do, but somebody can.
Somebody wandered off.
And if she did not wander, and she physically could not walk, then someone moved her, and the blood on the porch said...
What's Project Pegasus, Ardenshire? I'm intrigued.
Whoever did it was not gentle about it.
We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
By February 2nd, the Pima County Sheriff's Department had classified the case as a criminal abduction. The FBI was on the ground with their critical incident response group, and helicopters, drones, and search dogs were sweeping the foothills in every direction. But all of that effort was running into the same wall. The clock was already working against them because Nancy needed her medicine to survive, and the window for getting it to her was closing fast.
Her meds are important, and the family has told us 24 hours without those meds could be fatal.
By the time the sheriff said those words
to
the press, they were already well beyond the 24-hour mark.
So she's dead.
And every additional hour that passed was another hour Nancy spent somewhere out there without the medication.
So she's probably dead then. She's probably dead. So people just like, somehow people had the ability to hack into her ring system, shut down the security, and kidnap this woman without a trace? Something's up here. Something's up here.
Her body depends on just to keep functioning. The urgency was undeniable, but the one piece of technology that should have given investigators their biggest break had already failed them in the worst possible way. The camera that saw everything and saved nothing. Picture this for a second. You are a detective walking into a house where an elderly woman was taken in the middle of the night, and right there on the front door is a camera. A camera that was aimed directly at whoever approached that entrance and removed her from her home. Your pulse picks up because you think you are about to see a face, a vehicle.
I mean, like, as an investigator, how hard is your job? How many cameras are around? Okay, this one doesn't have a Ring camera. Let's go across the street. There's one right there. Oh, we probably have, like, roadside cameras around. There's cameras everywhere. Let's see what iPhones were in this local vicinity in the last 24 hours. We can do that. We have that power. Let's see who walked through here. There is a camera in the sky that's constantly recording every city on Earth in real time. They can simply rewind it and see everything that happened. How hard is your job? Is it really that difficult? It can't be. Even if you come and like hit a wall, to be like, okay, let's give it to Reddit. There's 1,000 autistic detectives out there, and they're gonna have some wild theories. They also might have some decent ones.
Maybe even a license plate. The kind of thing.
How many cold cases has the internet solved? Hundreds, at least? At least hundreds? Let him take a crack at it.
Thing that cracks a kidnapping case wide open in the first 48 hours. And then someone tells you the subscription had lapsed. And even though the camera detected motion at exactly the right time, it did not save a single frame of usable footage. That is precisely what happened in the Nancy Guthrie investigation, and it set the tone for the most frustrating chapter.
She seems like she's dead, but I don't think that's the mysterious part of this. I don't think her being dead is the mysterious part. She had a famous daughter, right? She probably had money. She just vanished. Was there a ransom note or anything like that? Or she just vanished? There's something more here. There's something more.
Was already running short on time. Nancy's doorbell camera was mounted right at the front.
No,
of the house,
I refuse.
Kind of consumer
I refuse to be
device
funny.
Millions of households.
This is not a funny. Is this funny to you, Freeside? An old lady is missing, and she could very likely be dead because she doesn't have her meds. And you just want me to be ha jokes. You want jokes? Ha. Well, I don't have any. I don't have any jokes for you, sir.
Rely on as their first.
This lady's probably dead.
Security. On the night she disappeared, it detected motion at 2:12 a.m. squarely in the middle of the 41-minute window.
Could be a Michael Jordan situation. What does that mean?
When she is believed to have been taken. But because the subscription had expired, the system could not push anything to the cloud.
She's already dead, so it's kind of funny.
It operated on a continuous.
I mean, right? I think enough time has passed. We can start making jokes about this dead lady. Wow, she's really dead. I bet her family misses her. Oh, these jokes aren't hitting. Okay. Knock, knock. Who's there? Not your mom.
Loop that kept
We don't know where she is.
Overriding itself, erasing whatever it kept.
I don't think I'd be a very good detective either. They'd be like, Officer John, these are very inappropriate. You shouldn't be joking right now. I'd be like, I joke in uncomfortable situations. But she's dead, right? We all know she's dead. What are we doing here?
Captured almost as quickly as it was recorded. By the time investigators got their hands on the device, there was nothing left to recover. And to make matters worse, the camera itself had already gone offline at 1:47 a.m.
It certainly appears as though she fought. Something happened to cause her to bleed on her front porch or patio area.
No,
it appears
chicks
she's
just
being
do
taken
that.
out of the home. But 41 minutes? You got to take off some time to smash the cameras, but that happened.
Angry John.
147. The doorbell got disconnected.
I think I would. Okay, I think I would make a very good, like, grizzled, hard-boiled detective, right? With like a snub nose 38 in my whiskey that I have like over a picture, and I like look and I'm like, oh yeah, well, what's the connection here? What's the connection? My ex-wife's such a bitch, and I'm like, huh. I would crack the case a lot, all the time, probably. Background noise for a tenor. What's he got for us? Hold on, I can bring that up. Hold Hold on. Sorry, I fucked up. Fucked up my shit. Okay.
This doorbell camera video shows what Bel Air, Texas police say are skilled thieves approaching a suburban home. But look what happens as they get closer. The camera starts to glitch and the picture warps, all because police say the thieves are using a jammer, a small device that disables a home's Wi-Fi. It's something security systems rely on. Police say the use of Wi-Fi jammers is growing, ramping up just as...
And you can buy them on Amazon for, I don't know, they're like $50. They're not expensive. You can buy a jammer. That's not hard to, you can get them, right?
The holiday season peaks with criminals targeting packages left on the doorstep. Security experts say to protect your deliveries...
The first thing is you can get a hardwired system that is not dependent on Wi-Fi.
Plus, consider a locking parcel box, schedule deliveries for when you're home, and opt for a camera that records on an SD card. This doorbell camera video shows what Bel Air Tech...
Well, that's interesting.
How long could that possibly take? 10 minutes?
Yes, Rhea, I mean a period. Chicks have periods.
57 now?
I understand. They're constantly, they just can't hold themselves together.
Now it's 31 minutes. To get her and get out of the house? Why?
I would not be a terrible detective. I might tase every suspect, though. I'd be like, did you do it? No. I'd get a confession. Would it be honest? It doesn't matter.
That's too long. I don't know whether something else happened inside that house. Was there a struggle? Did someone take her life? Is that what happened?
Yeah, she's
and
dead.
Panic removed her?
She's dead.
With her would go the evidence?
A full 25 minutes before the motion was even detected, Sheriff Nanos confirmed the doorbell camera had been removed from the house entirely, though he was careful to add that authorities were not confirming that any cameras were smashed or destroyed. A deliberately measured statement that did nothing to quiet the growing speculation about what had really happened to that device. The implications of that
L.A.
camera
Noire?
being taken offline before the
I
abduction
could
are
do
hard
that.
to ignore. If someone disabled or removed
I
it,
could play L.A. Noire a lot. I would doubt everybody. I would doubt everybody. I would doubt every single person. I would just be like, I don't know. Everyone would be under arrest, and I'd waste the department's time, and then the chief would yell at me.
or entering the house. That is not the behavior of a person acting on impulse. That is someone who came to the property prepared, who knew the camera was there, and who understood exactly how to neutralize it. One crime expert pushed that theory even further when he told Yahoo that the removal of the doorbell camera may have been a test, a way for the abductor to see how quickly police would show up in response to the system going dark. If nobody came, it meant the coast was clear to proceed, and the fact that nobody did come that night suggests the test worked exactly as intended. The layout of the neighborhood compounded the problem in ways that made an already difficult situation nearly impossible. The Catalina foothills is not the kind of residential area where homes are stacked side by side with security cameras covering every inch of sidewalk and street. The properties are spread apart.
It's a nice piece of property, right?
Separated by long driveways, thick desert vegetation, and almost no ambient lighting, and neighbors describe the area. After dark as pitch black, the kind of darkness that does not just obscure human vision, but actively defeats most consumer-grade security cameras that depend on at least some ambient light to produce a usable image. Retired Phoenix Police Commander Jeff Hines pointed out that cameras in neighborhoods like this tend to be aimed inward at front doors and patios rather than outward toward the road, which meant even if every nearby homeowner reviewed their footage, the odds of any of them catching a vehicle or a figure on the street were slim at best. As Hines put it plainly, the area's design made it easy in and easy out for anyone with bad intentions. Sheriff Nanos did what he could with what he had. He called on the community to check their cameras, ordered deputies to canvass every home in the surrounding streets, and directed his team to review footage from pharmacies, hospitals, and commercial locations along the roads leading out of the foothills. A Circle K gas station, about 7 miles away, eventually turned up what was described as a vehicle of interest on its surveillance system. But no specifics about that vehicle were made public, and no direct connection to the case was confirmed. The frustration was palpable, and on social media it was even louder. People on X were openly asking who knew Nancy's subscription had lapsed, and whether the kidnappers had advanced knowledge that the camera would not save anything. Others questioned why a woman whose daughter is one of the most famous journalists in the country would be living with the security system that was not fully set up. A fair point that underscored just how
Yeah, I think her daughter had something to do with it.
how vulnerable Nancy had been without anyone real.
It's that boomer cash. I think it's a boomer cash kind of thing, right? Nancy had a lot of money, or like this one, I don't know her name. She had a lot of money, and her daughter, even though she's pretty rich, probably wanted it, or maybe she's just a cunt. I don't know.
Realizing it. For 5 days, the investigation ground forward.
I don't know.
With no footage, no suspects.
I'm
no
not a
clear
detective.
leads, just an expanding pool of tips, a growing media presence camped outside the house, and a camera sitting on the front door that had watched something happen and remembered none of it.
That's not a camera. That's a motion detector. They just know if something's moving inside the house or outside the house. So they're okay. Great. Something's moving outside of the house. Why would you have one outside of the house? They go off every 2 seconds. I've had motion detectors in my house, and you try to beat it, right? By like moving so slowly, it doesn't like set off. You can't. It'll set off. You can't beat those. Just a little aside. That's a tidbit.
And then somebody looked up and noticed the roof. The neighbor, the roof, and the footage that flipped the case. For the better part of a week, the Nancy Guthrie investigation had the shape of a case slowly running out of momentum. More than 100 tips had come in. The FBI had posted a $50,000 reward. Federal agents from Quantico were analyzing cell data, and yet there were still no suspects, no persons of interest, and no footage that could put a face to whoever walked into Nancy's home that night. Then, around February 4th or 5th, a woman named Laura Gargano picked up the phone and...
All right, I'm actually kind of bored by this. Let's watch something else. Yeah, you guys keep watching this. I'll find something.
Changed the entire direction of the case with a single
The boys said it would be
nobody
good.
Else had made. Gargano lives near the Guthrie property.
Yeah, here we go.
And had been watching the wall-to-wall media coverage like millions of others.
Asman's going to help us. Asman's my boy.
I feel like fat influencers die more often than emo influencers, and that's really...
There we are. There we are.
He's saying a lot.
Fat acceptance is a cult. Just a reminder that I am very fat and very sexy.
No. You don't. Look. You don't have to remind somebody that you're sexy. Anybody sexy out there that has to go around reminding people that they're sexy, that's never happened. Never happened. You know why? Because people can tell, right? And you can tell too. People look at you. People smile at you. People offer you things. People like you. None of that happens for you. They might offer you treats. You want a sausage? Throw it on the ground. I know you're going to eat it.
And I am 100% glorifying obesity.
I want to inspire big girls all over the world. This is what I manifest.
This is what I manifest. These are the people, by the way, that are talking about how Stellar Blade has unrealistic proportions.
Don't know what Stellar Blade is. Is it one of those video games with the big titted ladies? I like those. I like those.
These are the people that are shaming cosplay girls on Twitter.
Every single day.
Dead at 37.
Choo choo. Choo choo.
Oh God, I hate that Nikocado guy. I fucking hate that guy. I really fucking hate that guy. I hate that guy so much.
It's bad, bro. It's real bad.
I'm fat and I'm sexy.
I'm fat and I'm sexy.
Why are you telling yourself that? Because you're not telling us. You're telling yourself that. You're not. You're gross. You're gross.
Keep saying it. Maybe one day it'll be true.
And look, I understand that some people find those very large women attractive. But you know what? There's also people that are into troons, right? There's also people that are into people like stage 4 cancer. There's also bug chasers, right? People that find somebody with HIV attractive. But that's not normal. That's not okay, right? You're a freak. That's what freaks like, okay? You're dying. Dying. It shouldn't be attractive.
Eye of the beholder, but I don't know about you. I don't find any sexiness in contributing to the statistics that obesity is the leading cause of death in the U.S.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of fat. Like, there's guys that like fat chicks for sure. Like, I mean, but that's not a lot. There's not a lot of them. There's a lot of guys that don't like fat chicks. There's probably more of them that do. Yeah.
I mean, look. If you were to put let's say you have a guy and it's like, yeah, I like fat chicks. And then you offer him, hypothetically, you'd say, you can have one of these women. Which one? It would be like a super hot one, right? And then a big old tubby mess of fat. What do you think he's going to pick? He says he likes women because that's what he can get, right? He's just a fucking loser. And so he doesn't want to seem as bad as he really is. So he says, yeah, I like chubby women. Well, you like them because you have to like them. Right? People in Haiti like dirt cookies. But if you offered them like a real cookie from like Publix or something like that, they'd rather eat that. They would rather eat that. Sure, they'll eat a dirt cookie because that's all they can get. It's not that they like them. It's just that that's what they can get.
I know.
Just because I'm fat, that doesn't invalidate the things that I...
My God, look at your chin. Oh, my God.
She died.
You ready to get supersized?
She died too.
Today I've got the big Fruit Loop.
He's dead. Join me.
And look, what is it? Blair White? Don't support that. That's a guy. Don't support that. I don't care whatever that thing, even if that thing says the things that I agree with, I don't give a shit. Don't support that.
Jesus, 33 and 37.
On my Fat Positive radio show.
I was expecting something different to happen with that share, and I am disappointed.
I did too. I thought that shit was gonna buckle, dude. But it took it. It took it, man.
Didn't last long because she died.
Unlike how Dove or the new wave of Victoria's Secret wants you to believe, healthy beauty does not come at
Okay, those chicks were a little thick, right? They were a little on the fat side for sure. But like thick. They still had reasonable, their waist was smaller than their ass. They had there was a shapely manner to their body. There is a difference between that and then just an amorphous blob that just rolls down the street, right? Like she's afraid of hills because she knows if she trips, she'll gain a lot of momentum quickly. There's a difference, man.
Size.
Well, the reason why they do this is because, so you have to understand that there's a lot of these girls, and I think that women do this a lot.
Thick is different from fat. Thick is absolutely different from fat. Thick, like a proper, a good-looking thick girl ain't bad. Ain't bad at all, right? I mean, I'm not really into overtly thick chicks. I'm not that kind of guy. But I can understand. I can understand 100%. You know, she got some good shapes and stuff like that. It ain't bad. It ain't bad. It's a little heavy, but it ain't that bad, right? But then there's Dumbo here, right? Where it looks like she's got tires stacked on her fucking arms. What is this? That's not sexy. That looks painful. That looks like your knees hurt and you're constantly swollen and you're just uncomfortable all the time.
One of the sickest things that I think girls do is they like gassing
They had
up
curves.
fat girls and
They
making
had curves. They weren't spheres, right? If you were to draw one of those thick chicks you wouldn't just do that, right? And then put like some hair on the top and maybe some shoes at the bottom. No, you would actually have to, there'd be the curve and then a curve, and then you got a couple of circles up here, and then there's an arm, which is clearly an arm. Try to draw this. Try to draw this. Try to draw from here to here. And ask anybody if they think that's an arm. They're going to be like, I don't know what that is. Is it like an elephant's foot? I don't know what that is. Because it doesn't look like an arm.
Them feel good about themselves. But I think that the reason why is simply because they don't feel like they're in competition with these girls, so they can do it comfortably. That's the reason why.
Yeah, you're right, dude. He's right. He's right. Asman got good takes, man. He tells us like he's right. He's right. All women are in competition with each other. All women are in whether they like to think it or not. Right? Whether they like to admit it or not, all women are in competition with all other women. That's why women hate pretty girls, right? They don't say they do, but they actually do because they're competition for them. And these chicks want to be sexy. They want to be wanted. So they have to lie to themselves. They have to lie to themselves. And they also say being fat is not their fault, which is also a complete lie. You know, if you were able to accept any accountability whatsoever, your life would be 1,000,000 times better. You would be able to lose the weight. If you ever looked in the mirror and been like, how could I let it get to this point? And be like, I need to do something about that. That is the first step. But I guarantee you roll out of bed, you waddle on over to the bathroom to take one of your enormous shits, and then you look in the mirror and be like, this ain't my bad. And then you waddle back and eat 3 drumstick ice cream cones, right? And then lay in bed until, I don't know, some black dude comes over and knocks you up.
So they gas them up, and then they end up dying.
Certainly not at a lot of the socially noble, body positive plus size.
Knobs Dog says, thick is fat to me. I like athletic, slim women. Yeah, but you understand. Look, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I just as thin, right? I just prefer that. You know. But you know what I mean, right? There is a tolerance of a certain proportion. As long as she has like the proper curves. But this is ghastly. This is horrific. I don't know who does your makeup, but that's a shame. I mean, like, makeup is supposed to make you look pretty, not. It's horrible. It just, like, you're fat too, right? But your makeup is awful. It's awful. It's gross. But you're fat too, so that's double gross. You're just gross.
Yet it is absolutely not wholesome to point that out. So much corporate glorification has been done to powder the fat.
See, when you sit down and then you just become like a you look like a shit emoji. You look like a shit emoji. That's the general shape of you. When you just kind of like spread. That's what you look like.
That elephant in the...
I mean, this is just fetish shit, right? I mean, like, there's all kinds.
I mean, if you want to call it fetish shit. You know, I'm not going to call it fetish shit because I feel like for it to be a fetish, the male would have to have other options. I don't think he's got other options. I think this is probably one of the best he can do. So to call it a fetish is not exactly fair. I think he's just very low on the sexual marketplace. Is that a fair assessment? Like, for it to be a fetish, you would have to have a reasonable option in another direction. Right? Does that make a faddish? Okay, faddish is good.
It's a weird shit like this. I wouldn't even really think much about this.
Room that obesity is in fact a disease, not a bragging point, but
it's not a disease. It's not. No, it's not. A disease is something you catch that you can't cure with willpower. Obesity is not a disease. It is a condition brought on by poor life choices and laziness. It's not a disease. Don't call it a disease.
Yeah.
corporations don't want you to get well because there's a gold mine in fatness. Not just
yeah,
True.
think about how many McDonald's there are. There's so many.
Well, not only that, not just McDonald's. You want to jump to the McDonald's and the fast food? Yeah, sure, there is a healthy profit margin in there, but here's where they really get them. It's the healthy meal boxes, right? Like the Eat Fresh stuff like that. It's the diet programs, Jenny Craig and stuff. It's the diet pills, right? The yo-yo diets, the power bars and stuff. These people go on all these weird kooky diets, right? Where they eat these weird kooky things. And they don't lose any weight because they just... The key to weight loss is not eating things. It's not eating more things. It's eating less things. But for some reason, there's been this weird trickery where, like, if you buy our food, you'll lose weight. Which is the opposite of what will happen. Losing weight doesn't happen when you buy more food. It seems obvious to me. It seems like a straightforward problem. All you have to do is eat less calories, fewer calories. That's what you need is fewer calories. So you buying these options, these Eat Fresh, these quick meals and stuff like that, it's not going to help you. Eating less will help you. Even the gym will not help you lose weight. And don't get me wrong, I go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, like a lot. But that's not for weight loss. Going to the gym will help you in a lot of ways. But if you're 500, 600 pounds, you need to stop eating. That's it. You just need to stop eating. Completely. Not like, oh, I'm counting my calories. Huh? I'm down to 1,000 calories a day. First of all, no, you're not. I saw you throw back 3 double cheeseburgers. You're not counting anything. You're not counting shit. You're still eating tons of food. Oh, but I go to the gym and I work really hard. Okay, that's awesome. I'm glad you go to the gym. But, like, do you understand that going to the gym is not going to burn a significant amount of calories? Most of your calories are burned just sitting around breathing, right? You need to stop eating so much. That's what it is. You need to stop eating so much. That's all. That's all you need to do. You don't need to go to the gym. It's great you're going. Trust me. I support that 100% that you're going to the gym. I think everybody should. Stop eating so much and you'll lose weight. When you go to Dr. Now, he doesn't pump you full of steroids and be like, yeah, now you're getting fucking jacked. He takes out part of your stomach so you don't eat as much because you're eating too much, you fat son of a bitch.
McDonald's, like, if there weren't any fat people, what would they do?
in convincing you to shed it, but also for you to keep it. Take Body Positive All-Star Dove, for instance.
I like how they make the bottles. Look at this bottle. Look at that one. Are you shaped like this bottle? I like how this... Oh my God, dude.
Real beauty comes at every size. They stretch out their
Honestly, I think that Dove, if they want to make a fat label or like a fat product, they should call it Penguin, because penguins waddle around a lot, they can't fly, and they just roll around on their belly. They should rename it.
plastic bottles and video game figures to slap on words like beautiful.
Wait, that one's not fat. That's just a little bit. That's not. This is what I would consider thick, right? This is what I would consider thick. She's not exactly svelte, but she's thick. She got some boobs and stuff like that. Her face is a little fat. You need to work on that. But like, that's what I would consider thick. That is the top end of thick. That is the top end.
Sexy.
Oh God.
You fat. When you start to get this.
The other problem that I think a lot of these people have is that they have to like accurately or actively try to make it seem like it is comparable to being skinny. And I think that also one thing that you've noticed, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, is that with a lot of these like fat activists and fat influencers, 95% of them are women. And the reason why is that the whole fat acceptance movement is derived from fat women trying to psyop men into dating them.
He's right. The same thing. The Troons are doing the same thing. Here's another thing. Why companies back women spend 80% of like 80% of like products and stuff. They're bought by women. Women use discretionary spending. They don't know how to save, right? They just spend stuff, right? And so, if a bunch of companies say it's okay to be fat, girls, you look great, it's because they're trying to make money. They're not trying to help the girls out. They're not trying to help the men out, right? They would like to keep these girls fat because it helps their bottom line. But it's destroying an entire generation of women. This is horrible. This is horrible. You should not aspire to be like that. This is sad. Wouldn't you be so much happier if you're like thin and pretty and attractive? And I see so many women out there that would be so beautiful if they weren't so goddamn fat. That's a bummer for all of us. You are doing our society a disservice by keeping yourself in this shape, in this form, right? You're failing not only yourself, but the rest of us too.
That's the entire thing. That's it. That's the whole thing. It's over.
Beautiful, sexy, confident whenever they can. Like every other human,
Yeah.
I wanted to believe that it was to support the self-love journey of women and leave it at that. But no, I decided to ruin my day and my trust in humanity by researching a bit more and found out that Dove is owned by Unilever. And guess what else Unilever owns? Ben & Jerry's.
So you call this in business, you call this vertical integration. And if they fully want to go...
Get them coming and going. Oh, you're fat and beautiful. Buy our ice cream. Jeez, dude. Come on. That's just... Oh, my
all
God.
the way. They need to buy a funeral home.
Right. And like a backhoe. So they can dig those giant trenches to dump these people in, or maybe some sort of a place where they process whale oil.
Ice cream, Magnum ice cream, and many other ice creams. Hellman's Mayo.
They need to get a mobility scooter business and then a funeral home business too.
And all your greasy burgers, Skippy peanut butter, a selection of frozen foods. I can go on. Isn't it nice to encourage your consumers to accept their enlarging body?
Wait. Is that who I think it is?
Who is that? Who is that?
Oh, shit.
And deteriorating health as the ideal in order to sell more of your processed foods because their beautiful bodies deserve more. Has body positivity, a movement intended to uplift women, become...
It's all women.
Duh. You know why? It's because men don't. It's not okay for men to be fat. It's not okay for men to be fat. If you're a man and you're fat, you are a failure. You're a fat slob, and then society will treat you like this. They'll look down upon you. Men are supposed to be like chiseled and tall and rich and stuff like that. Women can be whatever the fuck they want. They don't have to answer to no man because they don't need men in this society. They're independent. So they get to shovel their faces full of goddamn ice cream and then have body shampoos shaped like them. That one was just a ball. It was just a ball. God damn it. All right, guys. Well, that's the show. Hold on. That's the show. Wait. Where'd the other thing go? What? Where'd the other thing go? Where'd the other thing go? There we go. Thanks for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. I know I was muted for a little while, but it is what it is. I hope you guys have a good night. Stay strong. Be good cult members. Hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. It would help me a lot. And I will be here tomorrow night. And that'll be the week. So I hope to see you guys there. Until then, drink a lot of water. Get a good night's sleep and take care of yourselves. Because I care about you too. Love you guys. Goodbye.
I'm an incredible soul, unhinged and unleashed like a bulldog's fierce growl. I'm spitting fire, burning through these trees, questioning the world, unraveling conspiracies. Talking about Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster too, government lies they're feeding me their goo. I'm diving deep into this rabbit hole, uncovering the truth. To their control. I got small nipples, but my voice is loud, blowing like thunder in this crazy crowd. They say I'm crazy, but I call it woke, unraveling the madness with every word I spoke.